2021 offseason for the Detroit Tigers, so I wanted to do a 2021 season review for Eric Haase, like I did for Candelario. Eric Haase was our starting catcher this year. He bats from the right side, he throws from the right side. He's 5'10", 210, and he's 28 years old, so we have a lot of time to work with him. He's coming right into his prime these next couple years, and he had a great rookie year. For the numbers, he had 22 home runs, 61 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He batted .231 with a .286 on base percentage, .459 slugging, 745 OPS. So some things we can work on in the next year is definitely that on base percentage. He's got to walk a lot more. He swings at a lot of sliders away. That's definitely one of his weakness pitches. As soon as teams figure out how to pitch to him, there's a lot of quick at bats he had towards the end of the season and in the middle. He was pretty hot the first couple months he was up, and then as the final 2 months happened, he kind of cooled down because pitchers realized how to pitch to him. You got to throw that outside slider and no fastballs over the heart of the plate because that's definitely his best pitch. He crushes. Some positives, though, with his stats is that 22 home runs. That's great production from a catcher, and even 61 RBIs is decent. From a catcher, you're just supposed to be able to field a good game and get the hit every now and then. If we can have a legitimate power threat at catcher, I think that'll be extremely helpful next year. So, for some other thing that's really impressive is the sprint speed. He's up there with the rest of the league in the 72nd percentile, and he had 2 stolen bases this year. He also had a inside the park home run against the White Sox, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. So he showed off his speed there. He can really run the base as well. So if we could have a catcher that's a base threat or a stealing base threat, and he's also just not a liability on the base pass like a lot of catchers are, I mean, that's a huge advantage. So that's another positive about Haase that I don't think a lot of people talk about. He had 81 hits this year and 381 plate appearances, so a little bit rough for the final season numbers. He definitely was about at 250 towards before the final 2 months of the season. I was hoping he could keep his average around there. But something else we can take a look at here, the splits. So he started May batting .212 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. He had his second best month in June, batting .250, 7 home runs with 11 RBIs, and a .316 on base percentage. So June and July, he was really, really good at getting on base. He was walking well, and he was hitting the ball well. He had his breakout month in July, though, with 9 homers, 29 RBIs, and batting .265. So by far his best month out of any month. I remember he was switching off time with Jake Rogers back then, and I think that's when he's going to be his most effective, when he doesn't have to start every day and catch every day and have that big weight on his shoulders. If we can have another really good defensive catcher that can play 1 or 2 games every series and give Haase a little bit more of a break or time to play in other positions on the infield and outfield, then I think that'll help him a lot. So I'm hoping Jake Rogers will be able to come back in the middle of next year because I know he won't be available for the start. So maybe we'll have to sign another catcher, or of course we still have Garneau. But as you can see, when Garneau was up, it wasn't really good for Haase. His numbers really declined here in August and September. 4 home runs in the 2 months combined, both months batting around .210, so really, really rough months. At least the on-base percentage was getting better, so he was walking more as the year ended, so that's a positive and something we can look forward to next season. The other splits I wanted to look at is the defensive positions. Something I've talked about a lot here is how Haase is not really great when he catches, hitting-wise. 79 strikeouts, batting .218 with a .279 on base percentage. So if he didn't play left field and he only caught, I can only tell what his numbers are. I think when he plays the outfield, it lets him focus more on hitting and swing the bat better because as you can see, .316 batting average, 9 home runs, 21 RBIs, at .350 on base. So it's a lot smaller of a sample size because he's played a lot less games in left, but I think he's going to be really, really good next year, splitting time in both because he obviously won't be catching all 162, and we're going to want to play him more than just 100 games like we did this year. So he's probably going to be playing a couple more games in the outfield again next year. The DH splits are pretty rough. He only played 44 plate appearances with this, but he doesn't even have 100 batting average, so we probably shouldn't be using him out of the DH role. He definitely needs to be in the game, playing a full game of baseball to be effective. Pinch hitter, though, this is really impressive. 1 home run. He had a 3-run homer, and he has 4 hits and 6 plate appearances. So he's been an extremely effective pinch hitter, a 667 batting average. So that's something really impressive. Something we can look at here is the players that we had catching this year. So we had 5 catchers up. We had Wilson Ramos, Jake Rogers, Griner, and Garneau. Haase obviously played the best out of all of them. It was going to be a race between Jake and Haase back before Jake got injured to see who was going to be the starter. And obviously, since Jake got injured, Haase took in that role. So that was kind of great to see Haase run with it and become a really good player. Some other things we can look at. One of Haase's best games of the year was the 11-5 win against the White Sox on July 3rd. His stat line for the day, he had 3 hits and 4 plate appearances and 6 RBIs. He had 2 3-run homers and a single. It was one of the best games I've ever seen from him. One of them was an inside the park game, or inside the park homer. I was at the game, and it was probably one of my favorite games of all time to go back and watch. We can take a look here at his first homer, the inside the park homer. So he was pitching again, or Dallas Keuchel was pitching to him, and he crushed it to center, and he just misplayed it, got back, and then we can really see Haase's speed here on the base pass. He's really, really good at running the bases because it's not just speed. You need to be able to cut corners well and really get to the home plate as fast as possible. So you can see he made it standing. Really, really impressive. He also hit another 3-run homer later in that game. We can watch here. He hit this one oppo, so it shows he can hit to both sides of the plate, so it's another really impressive thing. So another 3-run homer in that game. That was one of the best games of the season by far. Another good game he had this year was the 6-5 win against Minnesota. For the stat line, he went 1 for 4 with a game-tying grand slam in the top of the 9th. So that's why this is one of his best games. We can take a look at it right here. Against Hansel Robles, he hits it opposite field again, just gets out. One of the clutchest hits of the season because we also went on to win this game. So that was huge and another great game from Haase. So yeah, those are some of the most impressive games he's definitely had this year. I'll link these channels if you want to watch the full highlight relays. But so yeah, that's for Haase. I'm thinking he will be the starting catcher for at least 2 or 3 years with us. He started off with Indiana, and he got waived, and we picked him up, and we actually waived him and then got him back. So I'm glad we got him back. I'm glad he got an opportunity to show his skills because now we have a legitimate catching power threat for the next at least 3-4 years, I'm hoping. For Jake Rogers, though, I don't know if they'll be able to be split in time in these next couple years because I think they're both able to take that starting catcher role. But if they could complement each other perfectly, I would love to see that. For Haase's grade on the year, I'm going to give him a B+ because he was a rookie. This was insanely impressive, 22 homers. I know he kind of struggled to end the season, so that was not great to see, but overall an insanely good season. He's going to be up there for Rookie of the Year. He should be top 5 in voting for sure. So yeah, I'll give him a B+ on the season, a really great year. The next person I'll do this for is probably Scope, and I'll see you guys for that.